Yeah, very beautiful morning to you, dear esteemed viewers. This is Morning Spring here on Western Spring Television, the second installment for the week, and it's a pleasure to bid you welcome to the program where we get to keep you up to date with happenings in Nigeria and across the globe. Welcome, and from all of us here at Western Spring Television, I, Ulufela Pemnielagbe, saying a very good morning to you. Hope you had a wonderful night rest. It's a new day today, the 14th day in the month of March. April rather. Yeah, don't mind me. This is April actually, 14th day in the month of April. And we thank God for life, we thank God for health, and we thank God for peace. Well, although, a lot happening across the country. And well, we thank God for life, and we can only hope that things get better. A beautiful morning. My name is Olufemi Alagbe, welcoming you to the show. Good morning, Femi.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Yeah. And for emphasis, it's April.
Well, I was trying to look at it April because sometimes all you just do is just wake up in the morning and we've seen the lights of the day. Just come do the needful and all that.
I get it. Someone will say, "I got a beg." April, not. All right. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. It is Morning Spring, just like I said. Femi Ojo is my name. We'll start with the newspapers headline segment. And after that, we then get talking about these issues. And coming up next, newspaper headline segment. Stay with us.
Ba mu fahimtar juna sosai, amma yanzu muna fahimtar juna sosai. Muna kuma sanar da juna halin da muke ciki gaba daya. Don haka mun samu ƙarin dankon zumunci sosai. Muke saboda aikinmu duk na tafiya tare ne. Lolin da muke fuskanta na farko shine muna fuskantar matsala na maharba, wato masu bin dabbobi suna kashewa domin su sayar.
Holding the tusk of an elephant makes me really sad and makes me realize that if we don't continue to do what we are doing very well and even improve on it, it means in the next few years we might have no more elephants. But then when I see what we are doing and the results we are getting, I feel very hopeful. Recently, our rangers were able to arrest a gang of 7 poachers, and we gotten some of our rangers go as far as traveling all across Nigeria to train other rangers. This couldn't be dreamt of when we started this project.
Sai ya zamana ma mun ƙara yin daraja akan da sun ɗauke mu abokan gaba ne, amma saboda ilimin da muka samu muna wayar musu da kai dangane da irin yadda illan da suke kashe dabbobi ko suke sare itatuwa ko kuma suke aikata wasu abubuwa da ba daidai ba a cikin gandu. Muna bi muna dan wayar musu da kai, sai ya zamana mun zama abokansu ba abokan gaba. Abinda nake so mutanen Najeriya su gane saboda tsaron dabbobi da kuma yadda suke shine dabbobin nan da Allah ya ba mu su, kowane halitta yana da kyau a bar shi a matsayinsa yadda Allah ya yi shi.
Very many thanks for being there. We go straight to the paper review at this point, and I'll be starting with the Guardian newspaper this morning with the top story there on the Guardian newspaper. Insecurity, FG under pressure over fresh attacks on troops, airstrike fallout. FG under pressure over fresh attacks on troops, airstrike fallout. Check details of that on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. On the upper strip below the nameplate there, on the left hand side we have the story, Anxiety over opposition's future as ADC PDP awaits Supreme Court's ruling. Anxiety over opposition's future as ADC PDP awaits Supreme Court's ruling. I believe Nigerians will be having their fingers crossed today to know what will be the outcome of the ruling of especially ADC's leadership tussle at the Supreme Court today. Well, we wait for the outcome and results of that. And moving on to, beside that, we have Nigeria misses $3.3 billion oil windfall as $25 billion Nigeria-Morocco pipeline progresses. Nigeria misses a $3.3 billion oil windfall as $25 billion Nigeria-Morocco pipeline progresses. See that details on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Beside that, we have the story, the headline here, 12 years after, Chibok parents demand global action as 87 girls remain missing. 12 years after, Chibok parents demand global action as 87 girls remain missing. The details there on page 3 of the Guardian as well. And below that, we have the headline, ADC Reps Caucus Adebayo Shehu demand Amokwita's ouster prosecution. Check the details of that on page 3 as well of the Guardian newspaper. And these are the headlines as you can find on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning.
All right, away from the Guardian, let's look at the Daily Sun. The Daily Sun newspaper here, and it reads, outrage over murder of Cornell, 6 soldiers in fresh stories raid. Outrage over murder of Cornell, 6 soldiers in fresh stories raid. With the rider Mopo, 9 others killed in renewed attack in Benue. These are disturbing, figures, actually. All right, away from that, I will soon decide on Abia Guba contest, says Reps Deputy Speaker. Hello. All right, I will soon decide on Abia Guba contest, says Reps Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu. I'm talking about Guba candidacy and endorsement. Yesterday, we learned the senator, one of the senators representing Ogun State, he represented Lagos State at some point, then moved to Ogun State. Senator Adiola Olamilekon, popularly called Yayi, has been endorsed by the APC caucus, actually. So, former governors Oshoba, Gbenga Daniel, all of them, that his candidacy, was announced by the governor. Dapo Abiodun himself to say Yayi will be the candidate of the APC. All right. Moving on, IMF warns Nigeria, others against policy missteps. IMF warns Nigeria, others against policy missteps. Some persons will say, let's be wary of the advice from these Bretton Woods institutions, IMF, World Bank, and the rest of them. It says Middle East crisis has pushed nations into survival mode. A Sharia Council insists on resignation of INEC Amokwito. Sharia Council insists on resignation of INEC chairman. All right, and page 8 of the Daily Sun has started. Moving on, Ndume cries out over escalating insecurity in Borno. Ndume cries out over escalating insecurity in Borno. All right, and top strip, Wiki. I never denied ADC others' use of Eagle Square. Wiki, I never denied ADC others' use of Eagle Square. Faction sacks Atiku Babachia in Adamawa. Interesting. Faction sacks Atiku Babachia in Adamawa. A party they are still trying to put together. They're already sacking people, actually, purportedly sacking, some of their big wigs. And by the way, I think there is another report that says that Wiki has challenged the ADC to show a proof of the application for the use of exploAre for their convention. Actually, to say, I didn't do all of those things. And if you have applied, show the world. All right. And one would think is only logical and normal. You won't be able to be, it will sound illogical, something close to being, being foolhardy for you to be talking about being denied of a particular place when you have not even applied
for it.
So it's unheard it's unthinkable, right? But that's why the proof is on somebody alleging, actually. So if you have applied, show it.
Proof, exactly.
Exactly. Here, crude jumps 8% on ceasefire collapse. The marketers more hike. OPEC cuts output by 500,000 barrels per day. That'll be up from the Daily Sun.
All right, moving on to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. The Daily Trust newspaper with the top story, the banner headline here: against odds, ADC holds convention. Against odds, ADC holds convention. Above that, below the nameplate, ACO leaders visit Gombe governor, declares support for Tinubu's second term. Back Yamaltu Deba Senate aspiration. ACO leaders visit Gombe governor, declares support for Tinubu's second term. Back Yamaltu Deba Senate aspiration. And below the banner headline, we have tariff court on vehicles. Rise could weaken local production. That's coming from experts there. You can check the details on the Daily Trust this morning. And below that headline, we have this as well: cut to rule on El Rufai's bill application today. Cut to rule on El Rufai's bill application today. Daily Trust apologizes over wrong use of pictures, right? And on the bottom strip there, we have again commander soldiers killed in Boko Haram ambush. Very disturbing reports there, talking about having those who were meant to, safeguard the integrity of the country having to, but we just hope that things get better and we get to have all these things brought under control as it's meant to be. Again, that headline there. Again, commander soldiers killed in Boko Haram ambush. And these are the headlines as you can see them on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
All right, let's see what the Nigerian Tribune has for us. Quick one: ADC dares INEC holds convention today. The Nigerian Tribune has started. ADC dares INEC holds convention today. Here, Supreme Court hears Mark's appeal. No request to use exploAre. Wiki. All right, and suspected headers kill 47-year-old farmer in Ibadan community. Olubado police meet over incident, and Ogun APC adopts EIE as governorship candidate. That'll be all from the Nigerian Tribune.
And off to the Punch this morning, the Punch newspaper this morning. On the Punch, we have the banner headline: Tinubu moves against terrorists after fresh military casualties. Tinubu moves against terrorists after fresh military casualties. With the rider commander, 6 soldiers killed. President meets French general service chiefs. The rider again, commander, 6 soldiers killed. President meets French general service chiefs. On the upper strip side, the nameplate 2027. Biodun or Shoba, Daniel Amusun and Das Yayi, Ogun APC governorship candidate. Biodun or Shoba, Daniel Amusun and Das Yayi, Ogun APC governorship candidate. And Those are the headlines, as you can see them on the front page of the Punch this morning.
Well, I see the Nation newspaper for this morning, the Nation, and there you go, the Nation newspaper. It reads big bold headline: Yayi Hamzat gets APC nod. Yayi Hamzat gets APC nod. All right, that's talking about Ogun and Lagos State. The APC and presidency, Yobe government airstrikes on Jeli market deliberate. Presidency, Yobe government airstrikes on Jeli market deliberate. An ADC Wike Bika over Eagle Square. Right, and you have a writer to that faction suspends Atiku. All right, commanding officer, 6 soldiers killed in IED explosion. Right, and federal government, new tariff measures to shield the economy from shocks. All right, we get to look into that in the course of the week.
You know, before we go on that, talking about the issue of ADC, somebody will be asking the question that, you know, there's an allegation that Mr. President is the one causing all this, you know, back and forth in the various opposition parties. Somebody might be asking that, is it the president also that led to the sacking, or how is the suspension rather of Atiku in this context as well? You know, it's as much as it's looking kind of funny, and you know, well, let's see what will come out of the Supreme Court judgment today, and then we get to know
today one thing we can know is the Supreme Court, except in very rare cases, this case of these kind might just be the hearing. That doesn't mean the determination. Okay, so they might just get to hear, but then it's at the discretion of Milord, exactly, to do their thing. But then those with the school of thoughts that maybe the Abuja is in charge of destabilizing parties and all of those things. When I mean Abuja, presidency, the Villa, the president, and the APC, some might say, link it to be, you know, the president doesn't really have to come forward and say, you guys start misbehaving. All right, that, you know, there are people that would allegedly
be in place,
been doing this yeoman's work, okay, to say, oh, so in a line of destabilizing these parties, what's next? Suspension of Atiku and Babachelawa. Who is in charge? Activate, you know, all of those things. But then it is what it is.
It is what it is, definitely. All right, we go on this break. When we return, we get into the discussion proper as it matters with us and our country, Nigeria. Stay with us. We'll be right back.